financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is, can you get out of debt if you're disabled? Brian Small.
Good morning, Ken. How are you this morning?
Very well, thank you. Jeffrey Kirshner.
Happy
Speaking
to
of
be
disability,
here. Speaking of
you're
disability,
the man.
I'll try.
How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Good, thanks. Jeffrey Linden.
Good morning, Ken.
This is the Jeffrey team. Jeff, Brian, Ken. Brian, Ken, Jeff.
You know what's nice about the thing that we get to do is there's always this reference to Mutt and Jeff, and we always know who we are in that situation.
Amen.
Who are you?
Jeff?
Who
Never
are you?
Mutt.
Jeff.
So you must be Mutt.
You know, I got nothing on that.
So what's new in anything new in the disability world?
Yeah, so it's a weird kind of deal. So through the pandemic, a lot of people have been objecting. They've only been doing hearings by way of teleconference, or if you have a video setup. A lot of people have been objecting to them. It's been weird, but they've been able to really catch up on a lot of backlog. So if I were here 5-6 years ago, I would tell you it's taking us to do the process from the beginning to end with the appeals, almost 2 years to get a hearing and everything else. Now, from soup to nuts, it's taken about a year. So
That's
been
a big
quicker.
change.
On the opposite end, though, it seems that Social Security is being much more aggressive in these intermediary phases in terms of requesting clients to fill out reports. It's an 827 report, it's an adult disability report, sending back authorizations, doing things of that nature, and they're actually doing a lot more follow-up work.
Is that after the hearing and after you're already collecting?
This is before, but there's also been a little bit more aggressive after the hearing too, of now following up on these cases after, say, 24 months of disability. So it's become certainly more complicated, and there is a growing need to have an attorney in your court, because there's a lot more paperwork that's coming and a lot more answers that have to be given to Social Security that the ordinary person is going to blow off, because that's human nature. Because anytime you see something from Social Security, especially if you're on benefits or you're trying to get on benefits, that increases your anxiety level at least tenfold, and so you have a tendency to let it go.
So you let it go and then they cut you off?
And then you have problems, even though they're benign documents and they're really not difficult in and of itself to give the information.
You just have to address it.
Right, but I see on that front that Social Security is becoming much more aggressive on that front.
Wait, so let me see if I got this right. What you're saying is traditionally, as I understood it, you get approved for Social Security disability, you go about your life, and you're done. And what you're saying now is that they're reviewing the disability approvals at 24 months or so, and every 24 months, every year, how often, and what's happening? Do you have to go through the whole process again to get reapproved?
So that's the second point of what I'm talking about, is the fact that, yes, so they are starting to become more aggressive with people, certainly people in their 30s and their 40s, even early 50s, about reviewing these cases. In the past, had a lot of cases, but there was such a volume and they were so inundated with cases, there was such a backlog that it was almost like a joke that you knew that they're so inundated trying to get cases processed that they didn't have time for the back end. Now it seems when they're caught up with the front end, they're being more aggressive in the process, and then afterwards they're taking a much more aggressive approach to follow up on documents with you after, say, 24 months or 36 months. So they are becoming much more aggressive on the back end.
But are they more aggressive in the critical analysis of the information, or is it just really just making sure that you're still eligible and need the payment?
I think both. They've over the years they've taken away a thing called the treating physician rule. There was a treating physician rule they had years ago that typically, if you've got a treating doctor and you've just got one examining doctor, especially if Social Security sends you to an examiner, tie goes to the treating doctor. they're entitled to much more credibility. They got rid of that now, so a judge doesn't have to pay
Defer
attention to
treating
the
doctor.
10-year oncologist or orthopedist and can pay attention to the one opinion from the one-time 5-minute examiner, and that's sufficient enough.
That can be dangerous.
That, absolutely, it can be.
It's like in the private insurance world. I remember years ago I handled a disability claim for a young gal who had carpal tunnel. She was a court reporter, and she got qualified for the disability, and they've been paying her for all these years. But every year they make her fill out the forms, go to her doctor, and document it, and they kind of hassle her over the paperwork that's necessary. And it's obvious to me the intention and the policy is some people get frustrated with the process and don't comply, and it gives them a reason not to pay. She always complies, but it's a pain in the neck.
So let's go through that for just a quick second. You don't fill out the paperwork. It just doesn't happen. Your benefits get turned off. Do you have to reapply, or have you lost your ability to reapply because maybe you haven't worked in the 20
or is there a
quarters out of the
hearing
last
set up
40?
before they cut off your benefits?
So they'll usually tell you ahead of time, look, you've got to do this, otherwise they're going to turn off your benefits. Then they'll send you a notice saying, we're going to stop your benefits, you haven't cooperated. Then you can appeal it and potentially have another hearing if they actually, once they turn off your benefits, because then if they turn them off, they've got to give you another notice, and then you can appeal then. And you might end up having to have another hearing whereby if you just were a little bit more cooperative, you paid attention, if you had somebody, and I just had a woman yesterday in my office who has horrible problems, but she is in her mid-40s, and so I could see why they reviewed her case, even though neurologically she is absolutely a mess. It's horrible to see. She was having the most difficult time doing her paperwork because they said we're looking into your
So
case
what was
now.
the outcome?
She came into my office yesterday. I have all my clients fill out paperwork. She came in with what she could try to fill out, and then I literally just forced her to fill the paperwork out. Get over her anxiety and just do
so
it.
The point is, if you're getting these notices, react to them.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, I want to do a case study, and I'm just going to introduce the name of our client. It's Fred. He's 53 years old. He owns Fred Landscaping and Snow Removal. We're going to take a break, and I'm going to explain to you what's happened to Fred, and we're going to deal with his debt, and we're going to deal with his disability.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP.
Pat was recommended by a friend who insisted that we really needed a trust. And he said, I know somebody who will do a good job for you.
At Samasco Law, we deal with estate planning and trusts every day.
We had excellent service from Samasco Law. Any questions we had were addressed. Our estate is in order and it had been set up so well that nothing needed to be done. I would just highly recommend Samasco Law.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're back. Before we go into Fred, you said something. So the person's having problems with this paperwork. So you go and you help them fill it out?
Right.
And so just lawyer question. How do you get paid for that?
At that stage, it's very difficult, but I typically don't get paid at all. This is something that I do as part of my practice, especially if someone I've worked with got them on benefits, they come back to me with this issue, I will help them because I feel it's my responsibility. I've handled the case up to this part. I already got paid, but I know that no other attorney is going to help them. If they talk to anyone else who's not familiar with them at all, will absolutely say, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I would even go further. To me, it doesn't sound like there's the bulk of Social Security disability attorneys wouldn't help their own clients in that situation once the case is done.
Right. There's a lot of attorneys out there that want to just do the bare minimum or just want to take in the cases that are the clear case winners. That's not my practice.
That's nice. That's good. All right, so let's talk about Fred. All right, so he owns a landscaping and snow removal business. He had 3 employees. He was making $100,000 a year. He was always behind in his taxes because he was self-employed. He was struggling with credit card debt all along. And then the accident occurred, December of 2021. He's got the snow plow on the truck. It's stuck. He's out trying to fix the snowplow. It comes unhinged from the front of the truck. It crashes down on him. He is horrifically injured. He has not worked since, and it does not appear that he's going to be able to work. All of his employees have quit. He's not working. He's got tax debt of $85,000. He's got credit card debt now at $110,000. His savings is dwindled down to $8,000. He's got 0 income. He's not in a good place. First thing, before we get to Brian on his debt, can he get disability?
Sure, he can get disability.
And now, he's been paying into the system,
Right.
but he's been behind in his taxes, but he always files his tax return. Is that still paying in?
Yes.
Okay.
It's still paying, and it's still
So
have
even
enough
if he
credits.
hasn't made his, if he hasn't paid that $85,000, of which a lot of it's Social Security disability, a lot of it is his Social Security payment, self-employment. That doesn't hurt him. He still gets credit for it, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. So that's good.
Right.
So how does he get his money?
So we
And
have
how
to.
much is he going to get?
We have to. So first of all, we have to apply. How much is he going to get? I would say making $100,000 a year. So I would say he's ballpark $2,200 a month, maybe even close to $2,500 a month.
So he needs this money badly. How
Yes.
soon can he get it?
Well, that's the other part. So he got injured in December. So now, the sweet spot for me to start a claim is about 6 to 7 months. You don't have to wait a full 12 months to apply. It's whether or not you're disabled for 12 months or the anticipated duration of the disability.
So
will
this
be
is the
12
perfect
months.
time to
So
apply
I say
for it.
that I always tell my clients the 6 to 7 month mark is usually the sweet spot. Why? Because you get your application in right away. There's a chance you could get paid based on them looking at your case. It's still going to take a couple
But-
months, and they could be.
But- He is? All right, tell him we'll be right with him. Fred is in the lobby in a wheelchair
Yeah.
with crutches.
Come
he's
on
there.
in, as long as you give me the crutches afterwards. So that's a sweet spot because you apply, you could get approved. Even if you get denied and have to jump through the hoops, well, now you've already started the process. So at least, because it's first come, first serve. So the quicker you can get in line.
So you get him in the
quicker-
system, then what happens?
Well, we file the initial application. Takes a couple months for them to make a determination. If they approve them, great. You can get benefits, a maximum.
So if his
your-
spine is severed, are they going to approve him?
Yes.
Or are they going to?
No, if his spine is severed, he's got all these notes.
Or it may come back together.
Certainly,
again.
if he's got some paralysis, that's a much easier case for them to pay right away.
Okay. So how soon does he start getting $2,500 a month?
Well, it all depends, again, as to what level when they approve him.
Give me a guess.
Well, if they approve him right away, he could get money within a month or so of applying.
Okay.
But it could be a lot longer depending on...
So it could be a month, it could be a year?
Correct.
So if it's a year, you then get all the back money?
Correct. So the law states that you can get a maximum of up to, for SSD cases, a maximum of up to 1 year of past benefits from the date you file your application. You can capture a 1 year back.
So do you get, from the date of your application forward, do you get the benefit, or do you have to wait a year before you get any benefits? What's the 1 year rule?
The 1 year rule is that if for an SSD claim, when you file an application, you could be found to be disabled a year, 2 years, 3 years prior to that date. You can reach back and get benefits up to a year prior to the date you file your application.
So in other words, he gets injured December 2021.
Right.
And he doesn't come into your office until January of 2023. He can only go back to January of 2022.
Correct.
But
He
if he
loses
comes-
a month,
Gotcha.
or he
But-
loses a year, depending on how often.
But if he comes in
Just
July, if he's in the lobby, he's going to collect from December forward?
Right, but let me give you a nerdy technical fact, which is why I'm here, is that with regard to
You're saying
Social
you're a
Security
nerd?
disability, the law states that when you become disabled, they give you what's called a disability onset date, the date that you became disabled. The law states that you're not eligible for benefits for the first 5 months subsequent to that disability onset date, so benefits start the 6th month following your disability onset
So
date.
December, he'd have to go 6
Good
months.
So you'd be
so
eligible
June.
until June to get his
June.
benefits.
That's what I was wondering. about.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so he's going to get that money. So now, Brian, Jeff, what do we do about his debt problem? He's got $85,000 in taxes. He's probably going to have medical debt also with his disability. He's got $110,000 of credit card debt. How do we deal with all this?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to examine his opportunity to file a bankruptcy. Can he file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy? So at first blush, the answer is probably yes.
It's not working.
It's not working. Depends on how much equity he has in his home. But assuming that I can protect the equity, which I can protect up to $60,000 for a single person.
Put that on hold. I want to take a break. When we come back, I want to hear what the rest of your analysis is.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
I was married for 57 years before my husband died.
Samasco Law had established a trust for them before this happened.
There's so much to do in the beginning, but after about a month, you're kind of alone.
We deal with estate planning and trusts every day.
If you continue to have good support and know that your finances and your estate is in order, that's one thing that's so comforting. I would just highly recommend Samasco Law.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. So I remind our viewers to listen to us for Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, Tuesdays 10 o'clock a.m., Saturdays 7 o'clock a.m., and on KISS 105.9, Sundays 7 o'clock a.m. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. Just call our offices, 888-235-HELP, or go online, and there's boxes to click to sign up for a free consultation. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business issues, elder law issues with Pat or Jim Samasco, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner. Sign up at lawandreality.com or call 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Also, go online, check out the free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by myself and Jeff Linden. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide to Social Security from Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Samasco Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We were just spinning. We just didn't know what was going to happen next.
At Samasco Law, we deal with these issues every day, especially elder law. Pat went to work for Fran.
Patrick was there holding my hand, kept saying, "We'll get through this, we'll get through this."
He got her husband Medicaid and in a nursing home. Samasco Law got the success they deserved.
Samasco Law is definitely family to me. I really appreciate knowing all of you.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
Hi, we're back. I didn't mean to cut you off. So you're doing this analysis.
So
can you file bankruptcy?
Yes, Fred can file bankruptcy. His Social Security disability income, when he gets it, doesn't count towards his ability
So even
to
if
file.
Jeff gets him immediately approved and he's got $2,500 a month coming in on Social Security disability, he can still file Chapter 7?
Fred's going to most likely qualify for bankruptcy, without a doubt.
All right, so you get rid of all the credit card debt.
Yes, but the question is should we file right then and there, or should we wait? Because Fred is going to be eligible for bankruptcy, but his income taxes may not be dischargeable yet. And if
Tell me about his income taxes.
Well, his income taxes, depending on how they come out, and we can get him currently not collectible status, installment plan, which for him wouldn't be ideal, or an offer in compromise to reduce the debt, depending. His bankruptcy eligibility is a timing scenario and the types of taxes. If his taxes are because he didn't pay payroll taxes, those aren't going to be dischargeable in bankruptcy.
Income taxes.
We're going to need that.
It's income tax.
His income taxes, if we get him in the right timeline, they might be able to be discharged in bankruptcy if they're old enough
Right.
and he's filed. If they're not, then we apply the collection alternative technique.
So you were thinking hold off on the bankruptcy to get to the point where the income taxes are dischargeable?
Potentially, that's the analysis. We're going to weigh that against how much back Social Security disability Fred's going to get and when he's going to get it, because I can protect all of the back Social Security that he's going to get, but I can't protect it if he's already gotten it.
And it's sitting in the bank account.
Right.
So can't you just do an offer in compromise and get rid of the tax liability?
Well, in the scenario we talked about, it depends on,
He's got no
what he
income.
owns. But it depends on what he owns. If he owns his house and he has equity, then that affects the offer and compromise analysis.
Well, he owns a house.
Okay, so at a minimum,
He owns a house and he's got $100,000 of equity. Now what?
so his minimum offer and compromise in that scenario, assuming his income is zero, nothing else changes, is going to be $80,000.
So they don't take into account the guy's got a horrific accident, he's disabled and everything else. They can't change that rule and say you get to keep your house.
On that rule, no, because it's equity and assets. If it's an income-producing asset, there's arguments we can make. There's some other things. The issue isn't that they're going to take the house. It's an analysis of his ability to pay if they exercise.
Okay.
But you
So if
could
he
put
has-
him into a currently not collectible status
Yes.
where he's going to get to keep his house and still not pay the IRS.
Okay.
Right.
If he only had $20,000 of equity in the house, then what? And the house is worth $200,000.
If he only had $20,000 in equity, his minimum payment is going to be still 80% of his equity.
Aren't you allowed some allowance or no?
Well,
No.
you're talking about 20% of the value of the home is the equity in the home. Then
So the value of the home was $200,000. So basically, if you've got equity, you're going to have to put in 20% of that.
If
equity.
you have more than 20% equity in your home, whatever that calculates out to be is going to be the floor of an offer and compromise
Okay.
eligibility.
So in his
But
case,
that
you would
also-
make him currently not collectible.
But that
Right.
problem also affects your ability to file bankruptcy. So this is why we may be looking at filing a bankruptcy immediately, even though we can't, instead of waiting for the taxes to
So
be dischargeable.
how old do the taxes need to be?
They need to be at least 3 years old. They had to have been filed for at least 2 years, and they couldn't have been assessed in the last 8
So
months.
if I tell you his $85,000 of taxes are from 2016, 17, and 18, you can discharge him all.
So 18 became dischargeable in 22. So if there's no extension, we could do it now. If there was an extension, we'd have to wait till October.
and
And
if I
that's
tell you
assuming
his
he filed the
taxes are
return.
from 19, 20, and 21,
Those are non-dischargeable at this point.
then we're probably going to file the bankruptcy, and you're going to probably get him currently not collectible.
Correct.
Because he's going to be forever currently not collectible because he's never going to recover from the
It's
disability.
using all the tools
What else
in the
do you
toolbox.
need to do in this situation?
Well, once he's on benefits, I'm here as
Make
a
sure he fills
resource.
out his paperwork.
Make certain if he has paperwork, they may have some questions. 30 months from your disability onset date, you're automatically entitled to Medicare. So they may have some questions with regard to that. I may have to send them somewhere for some questions.
Sad as it is, it seems to me that almost every disability case has a collateral financial problem bankruptcy issue with it.
How can it not? How can it not?
Because you're going from, your income's going, even after you're collecting disability, your income is 20, 30% of what it used to be.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's a tough scenario. That's a wrap. Jeffrey Cave, thanks for being with us. Jeffrey L., thanks for being with us. Brian, thanks for being with us. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.